Welcome all
to the Fantasy Shot Callers.
What is up, baby? We are back in the house. You know what it is. Fantasy is life. You know it's a vibe. This is the first ever Fantasy Shot Callers live. I am with my co-host, JT. You know what it is. Introduce yourself to the people.
Hey, what's up, guys? JT here. I guess commonly known. You can find me on Sleeper at Ric Flair, saying the wildest, most boldest comments as humanly possible.
The boldest. Wildest. And I'm your host, Ben Dunna. Fantasy Shot Callers in the house. We've got some hot takes. We've got comments, starts and sits, some values you can look at. And I guess that kind of kicks us off. NFL Week 1 is here. It is here. What matchup are you looking at as your favorite matchup to start the season?
I want to focus on teams with continuity. We want to look at teams that are coming off teams with continuity facing weak defenses. The one that pops off the top of my head would be Philly on the road playing Detroit in a dome. The biggest addition, good continuity on that O-line. They're going to run the ball, and they added it, your boy AJ Brown. So those are kind of that one. And the other matchup that I really like is Cardinals Chiefs. When you look at the over-under for Vegas, I think it's either the second highest or highest point total for the week. Anyone you could get in that game, that's kind of where you want to gravitate towards.
And speaking on the Eagles Lions, AJ Brown, his value, and what does that do for Devonta Smith?
You could get Devonta Smith at a pretty good value right now. He's definitely slipping in drafts. I mean, AJ Brown kind of goes at the 2-3 turn. We've seen pretty consistently here. Anything lower than that is a great value on someone of his caliber. I'd say Devonta Smith, you're probably seeing him in round 7, round 8 right now. And you're just betting on talent there. Last year, it was the number 1 run team. I think we're going to see them throw the ball a little bit more. Hurts does have some run and shoot capabilities. We've seen him throw the ball 40 times a game at Oklahoma. I think they're going to have opportunities there. They're going to stack the box and see, can he get it to those 2 premium wide receivers? I have no issues taking Devonta Smith. You bet on talent.
In the Vegas league, I got him. He slipped through the cracks, and I got him in like the 13th round or something like that. And that'll happen in live drafts though. Like if you're not keeping track of like all the players that are gone, you're looking at your squad and you're going through all these players. But that's why Sleeper is such a great app to utilize, because you can go into the mock drafts, you can claim a position, and then manually set all these players to help you win your live drafts, where you can have a computer and you can look at their ADPs and just like everything, like how it goes, no matter who you're drafting with. So with that being said, Devonta Smith, I think he could definitely vault to high-end wide receiver 2 category with AJ Brown being there. Jalen Hurts upside running the ball. But one guy we were kind of forgetting about, and he had such a great connection with Hurts in training camp, is Dallas Goedert. I think he's a value in round 7, 8, sometimes even 9, probably in like 10-man leagues. But I mean, he had top 10 finishes just as of like 2 years ago or so, and that's with Zach Ertz like kind of being there. So I would definitely look at the smelly French cheese and Dallas Goedert to take the next level in tight end fantasy relevance this year.
just provided he doesn't get knocked out in another South Dakota bar.
Yeah.
Goddard's great. I mean, Sirianni's a Reich, Peterson, Andy Reid disciple. They utilize the tight end position, and they're going to get a lot of red zone looks with play action boots. Tight ends serve great in those type of offenses. Goddard's a good call.
All right, moving along, but we're staying in the NFC East. One running back room that is a little iffy for me. May not seem like it's too much of a problem, but the Dallas Cowboys. We got Ezekiel Elliott going in the 3rd or 4th rounds, while Tony Pollard is going in 7 or 8, sometimes even 9. I guess what's the ceiling for both of them, and do they have much of a floor this year?
It's a guessing game, man. And, I have big concerns. I think, when you look at the historically elite offenses, we think of the Cowboys there last year. I would say they were a top 5 offense. You love the production you get out of Dak, but it's a season of change this year. And Tyron Smith, that's a big loss. You hate to see that. They did draft Tyler Smith in the 1st round. I'm not willing to put my money on that. That's a situation I'm kind of looking to fade. I see them more as a mid-season buy. There's a lot, Jalen Tolbert, a lot of hype. I'm not thrilled with that much with the hype that we've seen. I think he's at his peak right now. You got Gallup still kind of iffy. Reports are saying he looks good, but it's really CD and Schultz, and then everything else. I don't know how you could feel confident putting them in your starting lineup.
Who's going to run the ball more, Dak or Zeke?
Well, I mean, that's a great question. I think it's going to be Zeke between, he's going to get a lot of those inside runs, but I've been someone who was like, Zeke's going to get the ball. You go with who gets the ball more, but sometimes you got to call it, man. He's got a lot of miles. I like Pollard out of the slot. If you forced me to pick one or the other this year, I think this is the first year that I'm saying I'm taking Tony Pollard over Zeke.
Whoa, bold thoughts from a bold man. And going to our comments, what's up, Steven? How we doing? How we feeling? How we living? Thanks for joining us. Smash that like and hit that subscribe if you haven't already. Thoughts on my flex spot, full point PPR, Michael Thomas, Gabe Davis, or Elijah Mitchell? I'm going to go Elijah Mitchell on this one.
Yeah, it's pretty clear. Yeah, 100%. Thomas still recovering from injury. We don't know how he's going to function in that offense just yet. It's not Sean Payton anymore. Gabe Davis, Thursday night game against the Rams. Rams have a good secondary. You're kind of praying he avoids Jalen Ramsey there because, Gabe Davis operates out of the slot. Ramsey plays that star role. He's not going to follow Diggs. Mm-hmm. And then Mitchell, I mean, hey, you got Trey Lance.
Touches.
Yeah, man, if he plays and he is healthy, he's going to get 20+ touches against a Bears defense that is clearly rebuilding. Mm-hmm. They don't have Akeem Hicks. They don't have Khalil Mack. I know they have a defensive-minded head coach in Eberflus, but you got to have talent to stop the ball. Yeah. I don't even know if Roquan Smith's even signed and ready to go.
He is.
Oh, all right. Well, one guy.
He's playing out his contract. So he could do the Aaron Judge thing.
You could try.
And Steven agreed. Safest bet week 1 is Mitchell. Excellent. I thought Davis has some upside, but we were on the same page. Thanks, guys.
Too risky
this early. You want to talk about floor, not as of ceiling. And speaking of floor and ceiling, this comes to our next question. Welcome, Gabriel. How we doing? How we feeling? How we living? Smash that like and subscribe if you haven't already. Do I trade Amon-Ra St. Brown for Brandon Cooks? So basically, you're trading tremendous upside on a somewhat lackluster offense as of right now, to someone that has probably one of the best wide receiver floors in the NFL to date. So do I trade Amon-Ra St. Brown for Brandon Cooks? Context is king. So if you could throw who your other wide receivers are, that would be wonderful. But with this question straight up, I wouldn't trade Amon-Ra for Brandon Cooks.
I think Amon-Ra finished 24th last year. He had that furious finish to the end of the season. Brandon Cooks has been a model of consistency. I know he kind of got dinged for concussions for a while there, but he hasn't missed many games. The numbers with Davis Mills look really good. You expect a jump from both quarterbacks there, Goff and Mills. I think I'm going to have to default to, I think Amon-Ra has a better chance at accruing value throughout the season than Cooks. I think Cooks is always just going to be a wide receiver two, looked as a wide receiver two type.
Yeah, 100%.
The one caveat is it full PPR? Full PPR, you keep Amon-Ra. If it's not, I think Cooks is probably a little ahead there for me.
Sometimes you gotta trust that process, baby. So, moving forward, remember context is king. Throw that contextual wide receivers on who you got in the chat, and we'll get right to it. But we're gonna move right along. Let's see. So we're diving into a little questionables. Van Jefferson is out this week. Going for tomorrow. Oh, well, I'm just going to cut that off because we really haven't started yet. But DJ Moore, Hollywood Brown, Devontae Parker, Jacoby Myers, Treylon Burks, full PPR.
Wow. Oof. No, I can't send. I'm assuming redraft. Definitely not in Dynasty. Redraft, full PPR. Yeah, I think I've got to keep Amon-Ra right there.
Try to get rid of Jacoby Myers.
I'd get rid of Parker before Myers.
Well, yeah, for sure, but no one's going to buy Parker right now.
No one's going to buy Parker unless you get a drunk Patriots fan.
I mean, that could happen. All right, moving right along. Van Jefferson is out. Does that mean anything for Allen Robinson's value this week and Tyler Higbee, or are we looking in the wrong place and going to the rookie? Because we all know Cooper Kupp is going to ball.
Yeah, everyone cash in on your Lance McCutcheon shares. I don't think Van Jefferson particularly has any effect on Allen Robinson. I think, Robinson's going to kind of jump into that Robert Woods, Odell Beckham role. He'll see about, anywhere from 7 to 12 targets. And this is the best quarterback we've seen Robinson with by a mile. Stafford's familiar with Robinson's work from their time in the NFC North. I think he's gonna have a good time when defenses start to just try to take out Cooper Kupp. You got another wide receiver one alpha type.
Wait, you're saying Matthew Stafford is better than Blake Bortles?
Blake Bortles is only better than Matthew Stafford in the state of Florida. Everywhere else, Matthew Stafford's better.
Whoa. And then you're competing with Gardner Minshew and Tim Tebow.
Oh, whoa.
That's some shit that, oh man, Florida man to a whole new level, eating alligators and putting it where they're not supposed to. But anyways, moving right along, Zach Ertz value, lingering injury. He's had some injury, trouble in the past. That's kind of what had them see him out in Philly. What do we think about that tight end room in Arizona?
I'm not thrilled about it. Kingsbury historically doesn't use tight ends. They made the midseason trade for Ertz, combining just like how hurt he is, plus to, the big rage out of Arizona was how much 10 personnel they were running. 10 personnel is 5 wideouts, 1 QB. There's no tight end there. So I'd be mildly concerned there. I think if you haven't sold Ertz, you're going to be stuck with him a little bit. Ertz is a big fade for me.
Well, so does that give value to, let's see, Trey McBride or Rondale Moore, or even more value to James Conner?
They're going to utilize the short game as long as Conner's healthy. He could be a week in, week out. Low end RB1, high end RB2. He's going to get touches there. So it's so hard to call that offense. They just spread it out so much. I don't really like Rondale Moore. I don't believe in rookie tight ends. So I think you're going to see them focus on, Hollywood, AJ Green, James Conner, and whoever wins the RB2 role as the year goes on. Maybe,
Whoa.
Benjamin gets 4 catches a game. I don't know.
Oh, shit. Well, AJ Green is a name we don't speak of anymore. But AJ Green, man, the man that fell off Earth, not to Earth, off Earth. And Cincinnati, he had that, one down year, I think it was, and then he got shipped away, or was it 2? I think it was 2.
He missed like 2 years. He missed 2 years and then came back and couldn't get on the same page with Burrow.
Mm-hmm. But man, he was electric back in the day. And a couple years ago, seeing him on the waiver wire, I'm like, what? And then nothing.
Hall of Famer, Georgia Bulldog. He definitely was a big return on investment as the number 4 overall pick.
100%. The biggest injury news, I think, because it's the most substantial in amount of games, not just because I'm a Jets fan, but Zach Wilson out for 4 weeks. Joe Flacco value, and let's see, Joe Flacco's value definitely went up in Superflex if you went no QB strategy. And then also, what does it mean for wide receivers, or Michael Carter and Breece Hall's two-headed monsters value going to go up?
Well, I think you see a pump there on the running backs. Flacco will target running backs. He's not a mobile guy. He's not, when Flacco breaks the pocket, he's trying to get rid of the ball as quickly as possible. And that's what we lead to dump offs, where you see I don't want to say statuesque quarterback negatively, but with Phil Rivers, Ben Roethlisberger, the older quarterbacks, they don't have any issue dumping it off to their young bull on the side. They're going to throw it to Breece Hall. They're going to throw it to Michael Carter. So I think you see a temporary boost there in PPR formats for Jets running backs.
Especially Michael Carter, right?
Michael Carter Michael Carter and Breece Hall. Did I say someone else?
No. I was just saying, especially like Michael Carter over Breece Hall, and where you got him in the 10th, 11th rounds of your redraft leagues. I mean, that's you could get return on investment within the first 4 weeks.
100%. But you do want to sell them before Zach Wilson comes back. Maybe not Breece Hall so much, but when Zach Wilson breaks containment, he's looking to throw a bomb, like we saw in the Tennessee game. To like Corey Davis. He will throw jump balls. He'd rather do that. He doesn't take the gimmies like Flacco does. I also think it's a big win for Elijah Moore. I think that's someone, historically Joe Flacco is going to pepper with targets.
I have him in like 10 out of my 12 leagues, I think.
I mean, you look at the Jets' first 4 games. Those are fantasy-friendly games, maybe outside of Cleveland, but Cleveland without Watson, you're going to have opportunities to get the ball back, and you should have extra opportunities there. They have the Ravens, Browns, Bengals, Steelers. The Ravens secondary is TBD. They were not very good last year. New defensive coordinator, new system. Browns, they have a lot of talent, but they still let up quite a bit of points. Bengals, Hey, I don't know. Mike White put up 30 on him last year.
Mm-hmm.
And
That he did.
The Steelers secondary has been, they give up points to receivers, and I think you could see points in all of those games.
Going back to Gabriel, how do y'all feel about drafting Kittle? He's dealing with a minor groin injury already. That is very worrisome in my book because of those groin hamstring injuries. They're basically career derailers. We're seeing it in the works with Christian McCaffrey. We saw it in the works already with Julio Jones. These prolific players that their conditioning just hasn't worked out, and they may have some strings of bad luck. But with that being said, though, I like him better than Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel this year if he stays healthy. For the main reason, because Trey Lance is going to throw it to his biggest target, and his biggest target is George Kittle. And his most trusted target, don't let the hype fool you. Don't get cute. Don't let that fucking hype fool you. Brandon Ayuk is not that guy. He is not the guy training camp with no pads is playing him out to be. Trey Lance is a rookie quarterback. He played in like 2 games last year. He's still a rookie quarterback. If he plays a complete season, then he's a sophomore. But as of for right now, he's a rookie quarterback. He's going to look at his biggest target, and that is George Kittle, as long as he can stay healthy. And Elijah Mitchell and probably even Jeff Wilson will run the ball a little more. So I like Kittle as long as he stays healthy.
If you're doing a last-minute draft and you like where your team's headed and Kittle's on the board there in like round 9, round 10, which I know sounds kind of crazy, but that's where he's falling now. He's fallen precipitously in Dynasty. I know it's hard to get second rounders for him now in Dynasty, even in tight end premium leagues. I think Deebo's still the alpha there, but I definitely have Kittle as the number 2 option there. I'm not buying Ayuk hype. Shanahan, they could say whatever they want. Shanahan just doesn't like Brandon Ayuk. So I think I'm liable here to buy the dip. I hope Kittle. I think Kittle is a speculative buy if you like where your team's at right now. He's not someone where it's like, oh, I need to make a desperation choice. I need to take a chance. That's not where I would recommend buying Kittle. But if you like where your team's at, you can afford to stash him. I think he can be a week 9 to week 18 monster.
Monsters. And that's what we're looking for. Fantasy monsters at any point of the fantasy season. If you haven't already, smash that like, hit that subscribe, because fantasy is life. And we got fantasy football here all the time, even during the off season, definitely during the season and in the playoffs. Who would have thought?
I think the other, I was going to say, just in addition there, you got to look at San Francisco historically under Shanahan. They get off to slow starts, and it doesn't really matter who's the quarterback and who's not. They're a team that builds a rhythm, and towards the end and throughout the season, they get stronger as it goes on rather than coming out hot.
Moving right along. So there's a lot of speculation on waiver wire additions already. We haven't even played a week of football yet. Who are you going to pick up? So let me get this straight. Oh, I'm chewing my ice real quick because I got to get this knowledge because I didn't go to college. So waiver wire additions, why didn't you just draft them? If you're having second guess or you just don't do well in drafts, or maybe you auto drafted like a putz. I mean, yeah, sure. But waiver wire additions right now, come on. We haven't even seen a lick of actual action yet. And you just got to keep it pushing, roll through. Again, this episode is called Don't Get Cute. So don't fucking get cute, because you got to draft. You got to play through week 1, and then we'll figure it out then, because next week is a whole new monster. Let's see. So some dynasty buys right now. Who are we buying in dynasty?
position by position. I mean QB right now. You want to buy at the bottom and see who has opportunities to really explode and pop. I'm not saying they're going to return QB1 return, but what I like to do here is I like to go to Vegas odds, look at their over-unders, look at what Vegas projects these guys to do, and try to gain an edge that way. The biggest guy that kind of stands out to me, and I'm talking about these guys have an ADP of QB 25 to 32. The biggest guy to me is Baker. I think Baker is the biggest value when you're talking about bottom of the barrel. Say you punted on quarterback. Say you're looking for someone to stream. I need a backup. I think Baker has a golden opportunity to put up about a QB 20 to QB 13 season. We're really undervaluing, if you believe that CMC is going to stay healthy this year, then that means you want to buy Baker, because that's an easy 10 completions a game. He's got DJ Moore. He's got Robbie Anderson. And he's in a pretty offense-happy division. I'm not saying to go head over heels he's going to be a QB1, but that's the kind of guy that I see there that right now that the market is too low on. You can buy him for a late second. You can maybe even package two threes for him right now. That's a guy that I want to grab. I think I just saw him go for Jacoby Myers in a late 2. So
in Superflex or 1 QB?
Superflex. I don't do that 1 QB stuff.
Mr. Mortal Kombat button masher himself, JT. Welcome everybody. So let's see. Let's move right along to running back. Who's a running back that we want to smash our smash button smash burgers on?
I mean, buying right now. I mean, you want to sell Dameon Pierce.
Mm-hmm. Sell him for a lot.
Dameon Pierce hype is just. He's got to basically be Arian Foster now. He's kind of like this year's Antonio Gibson jump. But in terms of a buy right now, my biggest buy in Dynasty is Javonte Williams. If anyone is scared that Melvin Gordon's going to siphon touches off of him, don't worry about that. It literally, a direct quote from Melvin Gordon is, they want Javonte to be the guy.
Not me. 32-man PPR Superflex. Do I trade Higbee, Jeff Wilson, and Sammy Watkins for AJ Green, Mike Davis, Amon-Ra St. Brown?
Jesus, 32-man PPR. That's
so basically we're looking at Higbee for Amon-Ra St. Brown, right? If I read that correctly.
You don't believe in week 1 Sammy Watkins?
Isn't he hurt already?
Isn't he? I mean, he's always hurt.
Sammy Watkins, for the first time in his NFL career, does not score 30 points. He only scored 15, but he didn't even play. Thanks for sharing.
That's a smash. That's an instantaneous smash. I think you actually get the two best guys, Amon-Ra and Mike Davis.
And AJ Green, wide receiver 2 for the Cardinals. All right, keep your questions coming. Starts and sits. Anything you need to know, we got it here. Let's see. Where wide receiver. I think I know who you're going to talk about next. Is he Mr. Instant Separation for Dynasty buys?
Dynasty buys for wide receiver. Who are you thinking about?
Mr. Donkey Kong himself, DK Metcalf.
Oh, yeah. Jesus, how could I forget? I think I've talked about him so much now that I'm like moving on to the next guy. I think DK should be just generally accepted as he is way undervalued right now. Let's take it a step back. What's our biggest problem right now with DK Metcalf? He went from Russell Wilson to Geno Smith. As a former Jet fan and a current Jet fan would know. Geno Smith, real life quarterback, terrible. If he's the guy getting targets for your number one wide receiver, he's actually not that bad. This is a game of stats. And when you look at what Geno Smith did with Brandon Marshall, who is a fairly, it's hard to comp anyone to DK, but Brandon Marshall, big body receiver, works on the outside. I would say DK is probably a better version of the Brandon Marshall Geno Smith worked with. I think DK is going to see 8 to 12 targets a game. And we always know he is one slant, one missed tackle away from making it a house call. So you got to buy DK, at any point he falls into round 5, 6, 7. The lowest I've seen him is round 6. And in terms of a dynasty buy, man, he's so easy to pick up right now. You have guys valuing Rashad Bateman over him, which I think is bananas. I saw Michael Thomas traded for DK Metcalf. That's crazy.
Jesus.
DK Metcalf is an instantaneous buy. And even if you still hate Geno Smith, he's not going to be there for forever in Dynasty. Seattle has to make an upgrade there. And
And so
I could get him the ball. I could get DK Metcalf the ball in an NFL game. It might take me 15 attempts, but I'll get it to him.
But you said you kind of already moved on from DK. So who's the next guy on your list then?
I'm buying low on Cooper, Amari Cooper with the Browns. Just because you want to buy wide receiver ones when you can. I think now's the time to buy Cooper. You could get him really, really cheap. The best trade that I've pulled off for Amari Cooper is Allen Lazard straight up. And now we already see the Lazard bubble popping. I don't really think any Green Bay receivers are going to top 800 yards here. So Cooper, Stefanski's system is supposedly opening up. That's the biggest thing that we've seen from training camp. And I don't think he has no competition for targets there. I think he could see a 130 to 140 target season pretty easily. If we want to go for a younger guy than Cooper, Darnell Mooney, Justin Fields is getting a nice pop right now. People are kind of realizing his arm talent. I like Mooney a lot. He got 140 targets as a rookie. So that targets, opportunities, those are the situations you want to buy. And that Bears team is really fucking bad. And they're going to be behind in nearly every fucking game. And if you want to have a nerdgasm real quick, look up Darnell Mooney versus Jalen Ramsey, and he put him in an absolute blender. So I think Mooney is that type where he can get separation against everybody. Oh, I can't hear you. Can you hear me? See, this is why I'm a former Jet fan. Unless it's me, but
How about now?
Yep, I can hear you loud and clear. Loud and clear, Goose.
All right. Well, I'm having some technical difficulties, but that's all right. We'll keep the ball rolling. Let's see. So we ended off on Darnell Mooney. Are we buying anyone else? I mean, I'm buying David Montgomery wherever I can get him, but
your affinity for David Montgomery is unparalleled.
Dude, it's contract. You gotta get that shmoney. You know what I'm saying? That shmoney.
I like the opportunity. I don't have an issue with it. He's not someone I would overpay for. I think I could get, Javonte for the same price. I'd rather have Javonte over DeMont. I'm more looking at fading guys at the moment. I think some guys of ADPs have just gone crazy. Right now, Swift is, I love DeAndre Swift. I think he can be a scrimmage yard extraordinaire. I think he could be. I think he's the, how everyone's saying ETN is the next Kamara. I think DeAndre Swift is closer to that. My main concern with him is he always has nagging injuries, and if I'm paying a top 5 pick for you in one QB, or if I'm spending first round capital on you, I need to know you're going to be on the field. And some of the guys that I see going after him, I don't have the same concerns. But
so with that being said, then, I mean, is that put him in the CMC camp for that argument? Because it's pretty much the same argument.
Well, I think the difference is that CMC has put up the season. Swift hasn't. Yeah, I think Swift's highest finish is RB15. If I'm not,
that was his rookie year, right?
If I'm not mistaken, yeah, I think his highest finish is RB15. I mean, CMC has proven to be a historic, record-breaking guy, and also you just see how his offense functions. He will get those dump offs. Got a question. Our thoughts on Christian Watson and Alec Pierce. I like Alec Pierce in best ball formats. He's playing the field stretching role for Frank Reich. He should, after Michael Pittman tears up the league for the first 8 weeks, I think we'll see a concerted effort. Defensive coordinators do make adjustments. They're going to try to take away Pittman, and I think that could open up some big opportunities for Alec Pierce. But he's going to be probably mostly utilized as a downfield stretch guy. So I would say I like him more in best ball because he's going to have some of those 3 for 70 games, like 3 catches, 70 yards, those type of games. And you got to hope he makes it to the end zone. Christian Watson.
Do we think that Christian Watson or Alec Pierce will be the better rookie with different quarterbacks? Because Aaron Rodgers doesn't throw to rookies, where Matt Ryan, there's not really any narrative around that.
Right. I think I just look at who was the better prospect coming out, and you had Chris Sims saying Alec Pierce was the 3rd best wide receiver coming out of the draft. Now that's a little much for me, but I would default to who do I think is the better prospect. I'd say that's Pierce. I think he could grow into. I think he has an easier path to consistent targets.
Oh, 100%. I mean, the Green Bay wide receiver room is a mess, and it's kind of like you put the trough out for all the piggies, and all the fucking piggies are going, and no one's getting shit.
Yeah, you can't get around AJ Dillon's thighs.
No. Piggy number 1. Welcome.
Yeah.
But New Life, if you're new, hit that like, hit that subscribe. We got fantasy football content here all year long. We're here every week, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But yeah, 2 offenses that are kind of very, very different in the Green Bay Packers and the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm surprised the Packers didn't take Pierce, to be honest with you. I think he could have been Jordy Nelson Jr.
Welcome. Imagine if Aaron Rodgers just makes another another Devontae Adams or another Jordy Nelson or another Greg Jennings, shit would be bonkers. What would that? So that would be 4 Hall of Fame wide receivers, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Shit.
And
I
that's
hit the
another
like and
buy. He's
also
another buy guy.
subscribe. Thanks, man. Huh?
He's Aaron Rodgers, another buy guy that, people are way too low on. We were talking about him privately where, I was telling you, any season that he plays the full slate of games, he's never not been a QB1. He is. Now, will he be QB12? Will he be QB3? That depends on what they do in the red zone. I think they're going to run the ball a little bit more, but he's not going to turn the ball over. I think he's a buy in most places. Will Isaac McKenzie be worthy full season? No. I think he's a fun guy right now. He's, I think those guys, we consistently see like jitterbugs when there's no pads on light up training camp. And McKenzie is definitely that jitterbug type kind of guy. I think he's like 5'7", 160 or something like that. I would give him about a 10% chance to kind of take over Cole Beasley's role to where it makes him fantasy relevant.
I feel like that team is just like Josh Allen is this big ass dude just looking down like Michael Jordan in Space Jam to all the Looney Tunes, because like he's this big ass dude and all these other guys are just like super small. I mean, Devin Singletary's tiny, Zach Moss is tiny, James Cook is tiny. I mean, like, and then like Stephon Diggs isn't the biggest wide receiver. Just his footwork is impeccable, and he's a great route runner. I mean, Gabriel Davis is probably the tallest one next to him.
Gabe Davis is a monster, yeah. Big guy.
But yeah, Isaiah McKenzie, there is potential there for him to be another Cole Beasley, but I wouldn't count on it.
I think he's going to be a better winning player than he will be a fantasy guy. But hey, man, if you're considering him, if it costs you nothing, then yeah, you want to stash. I mean, that could be the number 1 offense in the league. So you want to get as many pieces as you can. But I'm not trading any tangible assets for him.
And speaking of number 1 offenses in the league, Patrick Mahomes came out today and said that there will be no wide receiver 1 in the Chiefs wide receiver core. What does that say for fantasy managers, or is Patrick Mahomes just all cap?
Yeah, it's saying that the tight end is top of the pecking order there. That's what he's saying. He's saying Travis Kelce's going to get the 160 target wide receiver 1 share. So I'm sure that was kind of like tongue in cheek there. The way that Andy Reid's offenses go, it's enhanced when you have a alpha wide receiver there, but they function without them. And I think, in terms of like cost effectiveness, they did the best they could to replace Tyreek. You're not going to replace Tyreek 1 for 1. But I mean, when you add a Scantling and you have Hardman's role probably increasing a little bit, I think overall the offense will still be it'll still be an elite offense, and I think Mahomes will surprise. I think by the end of the season, Mahomes is going to be back to QB1 status.
QB1 status. But like that's just like overall, right? Not week to week, because
overall, yeah.
Mahomes will score 40 points one week and then 15 the next.
You're a committee of one in your Mahomes hate. I will not join you on that island.
I have more people on my island. You just can't see them.
It's because they're Isaac McKenzie size.
Isaac. Well, yeah. So I mean, I agree. Travis Kelce is the number 1 option on that team. I think Patrick Mahomes will probably have his highest rushing total this year.
Oh, there we go. I wonder what his rushing prop is.
And we may have to smash that bet, even though I was just in Vegas. But Darren Waller is now healthy. He's no longer questionable. So let's go.
Oh, he has a line. He has a line. You ready for it?
What?
Patrick Mahomes' rushing line for the season is over under 300.5.
So that's 350 or 300 and like 300.
301. 301. I think I'd take that.
Yeah, I probably would too. I mean, let's pull up his stats real quick.
What does that extrapolate over the season?
That's like 15 yards a game or something like that. Less than that.
Yeah, that seems like a smashy smash. I think it's like you're saying, yeah, like 17, 18 yards a game.
Mm-hmm. I'm just trying to look at his history.
So 20 yards a game, that would be.
All right. Well, Sleeper doesn't want to work on my computer, so let's see. Patrick.
Pulling up his stats. The guy's a monster, man. Yeah. So his first season, he had 272. Year 2, he had 218. Year 3, he had 308. Last year, he had 381.
There it is.
That seems like a smash.
520.
520. Holy
520. I'm telling you. How would I not back up the statement I just made in that Patrick Mahomes is going to have more rushing yards than he has ever had? When I say ever had, it has to be at least 130 more.
And so you could have just said 420.
Yeah, well, I'm. If anyone knows me, I'm as bold as they motherfucking get. Let's go. All right, so let's see. We've covered a good amount. Let's see. I have some questions in starts and sits, or actually trade. Breece Hall and CeeDee Lamb for Cortland Sutton, Elijah Moore, Kareem Hunt.
Jeez. Oof. I'd have to know the team. If you're looking to fill a flex spot, I mean, it's just tough to give up a running back this early in the season. That could come back and bite you in the ass. I really struggle sometimes in sending the two top assets out. I probably don't want to group Breece and CeeDee there. I'm assuming it's redraft, so maybe you have Sutton ahead of Breece Hall there, but I think the positional difference there, I would still probably roll Breece there a little bit. I'd want a better running back than Kareem Hunt coming back.
Okay, what if you were the other way around?
If I was
currently had Sutton, Breece, or Sutton, Moore, and Hunt.
Sutton is the only part there that gives me pause. We could be looking at, 140 target season there, and, in a good offense and a good division for fantasy points. It feels kind of steep for Breece, though. It's a tough one. It'll all come down to roster composition.
Yeah. Let's see. Some more we got here. Who wins this trade? Kittle, James, Connor, and Devontae Adams for Kelsey and Javonte Williams. Jesus.
What were the first three again?
It was 4. Kittle, Connor, or no, it was 3. Kittle, Connor, and Devontae Adams for Kelsey and Javonte Williams. Redraft.
Give me Kelsey and Javonte.
Okay.
I don't think we're gonna see Devontae circa Aaron Rodgers years.
I don't think so either.
I think that has more to do with Renfro and Waller existing.
Mm-hmm.
And also McDaniels runs the ball in the red zone so much. So I think Devontae is going to put up a fine season. I think he's going to be a wide receiver 1. I just don't think he's going to be wide receiver 1.
Knox or Schultz week 1?
I'd have to check how the Rams grade out against tight ends. Schultz.
Yeah, me too.
Cowboys don't have a wide receiver two, the wide receiver 2 position settled. I don't believe in Jalen Tolbert's hype. Like, I like him as a future asset. I like him moving forward, but you got guys now taking him in single digit rounds, and that to me is beyond bananas.
Yeah.
Give me Schultz. He's going to get 8 targets. I do kind of have a little concerns, but Todd Bowles' defenses do sometimes struggle with tight ends.
Well, like you said perfectly. I mean, he's the number 2 wide receiver. I mean, he may even be the number 1 towards the middle of the season. Just purely on, health. People don't talk about how healthy these Cowboy receivers are, and they haven't been very healthy. Their number 1, their most consistent wide receiver is gone now, and Amari Cooper.
Right.
And with CeeDee Lamb there, that's another gripe I have. He has done nothing to implement him in the second round. He hasn't. He's had games here and there, but he has done nothing, not compared to Tyreek Hill, Mike Evans. I mean, like, even Jamar Chase, if he falls to the second.
Okay, I'm not taking CeeDee Lamb over Jamar Chase. Let's not get crazy here. I take CeeDee Lamb over Tyreek and Mike Evans. The Cowboys throw the ball more than anyone. I think they had the number 1 pass attempts last year. And I think Cooper's, targets have to go somewhere. I like CeeDee. He has the route tree that I like. I think he's on that Calvin Ridley progression phase. I think, the last 2 years, he's definitely been overvalued for the production he's provided. But he can win at all 3 phases. But, just touching on Schultz, especially, what do we see teams do when they lose a superstar tackle? You're going to see them utilize their tight end to chip off defensive ends and work as a safety release. So he's going to block and release quite a bit. So I think you hit the nail on the head with Dalton Schultz. I think he's going to see a lot of targets.
And even target, I mean, that just sounds like he's going to get a bunch of dump offs too. So for PPR, I mean, that's amazing, right?
Dalton Schultz, I think he will be a top 5 tight end this year.
He'll implement himself into the 4 horsemen, like I like to call them.
I don't think there's 4 horsemen anymore, but
I mean, there was.
No, I'm not going to disparage your boy Waller.
I mean, well, let's see. So I think it was like either last year or the year before. It was, Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews, Darren Waller, and George Kittle. And then, you had TJ Hawkinson right outside of there. I feel like I'm forgetting someone.
No,
I don't think so.
No, you're good though. Noah Fant had a run in the sun there for a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And then he got injured and everything was washed away.
I think he just sucks, but.
Well, that could be it too. So let's see. It's hotter than a bitch in Southern California. I feel like I'm in Las Vegas or Arizona. I think we'll call it quits for today. But to everyone who tuned in, thank you for coming to the first ever Fantasy Shot Callers live. We are doing this every single week to look at hot trends, have hot takes, be hot, because you know what it is. Fantasy is life. It's a vibe. Hit that plus, hit that like, and hit that subscribe. Peace and love, y'all. Until next week.